CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a blanket of wildfire smoke billowing into our region this afternoon, prompting a yellow air quality warning from Environment Canada and a cancellation of tonight's headliners at Rock the Park. Officials posted on social media at 9 p.m. saying, in part, both our team and the Lumineers have made the difficult decision to conclude the festival following Dylan Gossett's performance. We have followed the City of London's advisory of cancelling all further outdoor events this evening. No specifics on potential refunds were provided, but the statement did indicate ticket purchasers would be contacted directly soon. Now, the yellow warning indicates an increased risk of adverse health impacts, including itchy eyes, runny nose, sore throat, and coughing. The conditions in Toronto today were so bad at one point, agencies tracking air quality deemed it the worst among major world cities. With more on the fires in northern Ontario and their impact across the whole province, here's Adrian Gabriel.
This could potentially overtake us here. This is getting a little scary.
A wall of deadly flames surrounds a CN train in northwestern Ontario. A crew member calls out for help.
Holy sh**. Okay, y'all need to hurry up here. Like, seriously, we're encased in flames now.
Everyone on board was safely evacuated. Emergency orders have been issued to vacate multiple northwestern Ontario communities, including First Nations. Satellite images show a blanket of smoke created by dozens of fires covering large swaths of the province. The Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Centre says that as of this week, there are roughly 838 active fires across Canada, with the largest concentration found in Quebec, where 190 are burning, followed by Ontario with 184. Canada's largest city now on the receiving end, the skyline suffocated by a smoky canvas.
I've never, ever seen anything like this.
As of 11 a.m. this morning, Toronto had the most polluted air quality in the world, worse than Delhi, Dubai, and Doha, just to name a few.
This is kind of like the earth smoking a cigarette, and we're getting the secondhand smoke from it.
At a popular Toronto park where hundreds flock to each day during the summer, only a handful of people brave the elements. Others put on a mask while traversing the city, protecting themselves from the particles in the air.
Those particles are going to contain a whole sort of soup of different chemicals and compounds that can impact people's health.
Compounding the air quality alert, the big smoke is also battling a heat warning. Though further north, the dangers remain even more present and pressing.
In the midst of these unhealthy conditions, public health officials are advising everyone in the affected areas to limit their outdoor exposure, regardless of their age or medical history.
Adrian Gabriel, CTV News.
For more on this, joined by our meteorologist, Julie Atchison. We saw the smoke roll into London this afternoon. How much longer are we expecting it to hang around?
Well, poor air quality is expected heading into tomorrow. Unfortunately, the raging forest fires in northwestern Ontario. Of course, that plume of smoke developing across the region today. So our wind shifted to the northwest. We had this weak front come through that shifted our winds, and as a result, allowing all of that smoke to mix down to the surface. Poor air quality will continue tonight through the overnight. Again, forest fires are continuing, and our northwest winds will continue as well. So this is reading the forest fire smoke, as you can see. And again, that settled right south as we headed through the afternoon. So as we push into the overnight, expect poor air quality. Once again, tomorrow, smoke Carlyle is in the forecast with a northwest wind continuing. We will see clearing conditions as we head into a Thursday late afternoon, evening. So we are hoping that things will shift just a bit, but a northwest wind will be with us tonight into tomorrow, and we are expecting poor air quality through the overnight and in through the day tomorrow. So again, forest fires, though, can be, of course, very unpredictable in how that smoke will move and set up across Ontario. So keeping a very close eye on the forecast. And of course, individuals suffering from respiratory issues advised to limit your time outdoors and avoid strenuous outdoor activities. I'll have all your forecast details coming up in just a few minutes. Carlyle, back to you.
Thank you, Julie. Local tenant advocates are demanding the provincial government do more to protect renters from dangerously high indoor temperatures. Rita Ismail has more on their demonstrations today and their push for stronger protections.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, extreme heat has got to go. As temperatures climb outside, many renters say the heat inside their homes can become unbearable.
We're looking at anywhere from 25 to 30 Celsius on a regular basis. Like our thermostats don't go under 25.
Acorn chapters across Canada took to the streets today calling for stronger protections against extreme indoor heat.
Most rental units do not have access to ACs, or financially also it's really difficult for them to afford them.
The campaign comes as Ontario's rules around air conditioning have changed. Amendments introduced through Bill 97 gives tenants greater ability to install their own window or portable air conditioners. If utilities are included in the rent, landlords can recover reasonable electricity costs. But the law does not require landlords to provide air conditioning.
Just how we have a minimum temperature cap during winters, Acorn's advocating for a maximum heat bylaw that sets a cap at 26 degrees, so renters don't have to worry about boiling alive in their apartments during extreme heat, even if they do not have an AC.
In a statement to CTV News, Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing did not say whether the province is considering a maximum indoor temperature standard. Instead, it reiterated Ontario's building code that contains requirements related to heating and cooling systems and highlighted recent changes that allow tenants to install their own air conditioners.
They say that AC is included, and if it is included, it's not working correctly. And there's no compensation offered. You're just expected to take it, and that's not right.
Locally, a proposed adequate and suitable cooling bylaw was brought to the CAPS committee last fall, requiring landlords to keep the temperature inside apartments below a dangerous threshold. But it only applies to buildings where air conditioning is already provided by that landlord or built into the lease.
Any type of cooling will kind of save someone's life or get someone away from a potential danger of heat exhaustion or a heat stroke is something that I think we should really be seriously taking a look at.
Rita Ismail, CTV News.
2 London neighborhoods have been selected for a pilot project allowing pet waste in green bins. The one-year pilot project will begin this fall. 1,900 homes will be notified in parts of Old South and White Oaks. The study will measure participation rates and evaluate collection methods before councillors decide if the program is expanded. Provincial government leaders were in Sarnia today, emphasizing their commitment to building an oil pipeline delivering crude to local refineries. With more on that message this morning, here's Jerry DeWan.
Stephen Lecce toured Sarnia's Kilgore Limited, a metal fabricating and construction company. The Minister of Energy and Mines used the visit to stress his government's commitment to the Northern Shield Energy Corridor, a 3,300-kilometer pipeline project.
We will work together to move this project forward, to complete the study at the end of this calendar year, and to get on with nation building through a meaningful dialogue of partnership, but ultimately moving beyond the talk to getting things done for Canada.
Lecce says a dialogue has begun with regions that will be impacted. That includes the Omnijong First Nation in Sarnia. Manitoba Premier Webb Canoe has withheld full endorsement of the project, looking for assurances that the pipeline will travel to the Port of Churchill.
In good faith, we'll work with Premier Canoe, the people of Manitoba. We want to create win-win-wins. Every province, every First Nation, every community can win.
Kilgore leadership say their company has worked on many of the refinery and petrochemical projects in Sarnia and have the skill set to help the Chemical Valley scale up.
When people talk about Sarnia being the heart of Canada's refining and petrochemical industry, what they're really talking about is the skill of the workforce that keeps it running.
Sarnia Mayor Mike Bradley says the Chemical Valley has been maligned in the past, but says it continues to be a key economic driver for both Ontario's and the nation's economy.
We're having an adult discussion about this industry and treating it with the respect it deserves. It produces wealth for every other part of this country, and that's what this is about today.
Lecce says economic volatility created by U.S. tariff policies and by the war with Iran has only galvanized opinion that Canada needs greater energy independence.
A problem that has been well defined in the hearts and minds of Canadians, that we cannot, in good conscience, rely on them for the energy sovereignty, for the reliability that our country and Canadians need now more than ever.
Lecce is also calling for the creation of a strategic petroleum reserve, noting that Canada is the only G7 nation without a reserve. In Sarnia, Jerry DeWan, CTV News.
Officials with the provincial government say they're going to eliminate a rule allowing Toronto area MPPs to expense hotel stays in that city. Several ministers have come under scrutiny for billing thousands of dollars in hotel costs despite representing ridings in the GTA. Siobhan Morris reports.
With hotel bills from several government MPPs shooting past $100,000, the government House Leader has moved to eliminate the rule that made them possible. It was intended to help members who live close to Queen's Park in an emergency, like a snowstorm. The opposition leader insists a rule change doesn't undo the past.
These members just simply saw that policy. They understood what it was for. All of us do as MPPs. And they chose to abuse it.
It's an exciting time in Ontario.
Public records show the parliamentary assistant to the Minister of Transportation racked up the biggest bill since 2023. Hardeep Grewal, who represents Brampton East, billed taxpayers for over $27,000. Nina Tangri from Mississauga Streetsville had almost $19,000. And Charmaine Williams of Brampton Centre has been repaid close to $16,000. We told you yesterday the Minister of Tourism, Culture and Gaming was paying back $16,000 in hotel bills, including $6,000 in just a month.
There's no excuse for this behavior. And again, I'm happy if they prove me wrong. Show us the receipts.
The Liberals say they're willing to work with the government on eliminating the rule, but previous bills have to be explained.
This motion is really an attempt to bury something that the taxpayers absolutely have a right to know about.
Stephanie Bowman suggests the Auditor General or Integrity Commissioner may need to weigh in.
I mean, I'm a chartered accountant by background. I would say that this kind of policy is rife for abuse because it is not specific enough about when it is allowed to be used.
Well, who could ever have thought this was a good idea?
Former Ontario PC leader and Toronto Mayor John Tory says all the rules about MPP expenses may need a second look.
It isn't just about partisan damage, it's about damage in the institution and damage in elected representatives. And I'm a great believer in the good the system can do and in the goodness of the people who are in it, and this doesn't help.
A spokesperson for the Premier says any expense that did not meet the intent of the rules will be reimbursed to the legislature in full. But she offered no explanation of who would make that call or how. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
The London Health Sciences Centre Board of Directors now has a new chair. Ron Sapsford will take over the job starting October 1st. He's currently the board chair for the Middlesex Hospital Alliance. The entire LHSC board resigned 2 years ago after the provincial government appointed a supervisor in response to years of financial mismanagement. London police say they're looking for a suspect accused of breaking into St. Peter's Cathedral downtown. London police say this man entered the church early Saturday morning, stealing handmade flags and several religious items. He's described as 5'11", wearing a green hoodie and white shoes. London resident and Second World War veteran Sir George Beardshaw has died. We featured Beardshaw last month when he was awarded an honorary degree from Wilfrid Laurier University. According to loved ones, he died peacefully last Saturday. Beardshaw served with the Queen's Own Rifles during the Second World War and spent the final weeks of that conflict as a prisoner of war. A celebration of life is scheduled for Friday at 1 p.m. at Parkwood Veterans Care Chapel. George Beardshaw was 103. A groundbreaking today in Walkerton for a new hospice facility, more than a decade in the making, with more on the expanded end-of-life care and its potential impact for the community. Here's Scott Miller.
Ground has finally been broken on a $10 million 6-bed hospice to be built in Walkerton.
It is definitely a required facility. We need this structure so badly.
Construction will begin on the Saugeen hospice this September. The center will provide end-of-life care for hundreds of families from parts of Grey, Wellington, Bruce, and Huron counties.
Very excited about it. It's got a lot going for it. It's centrally located, so everybody can come from Mount Forest, Godrich, all over the area to a central location here.
Brown was around at the beginning of the Saugeen hospice, which has been in the planning stages for 11 years now. Managing massive fundraising, regional politics, and provincial regulations has meant it's been a long journey to breaking ground, but a worthwhile one, say hospice organizers, including the local mayor, Chris Peabody, who has a very personal reason to support the Saugeen Hospice.
My wife was very sick with cancer. She wanted to stay at home, and we honored those wishes, but it was quite a struggle. And I know that this type of care close by, we just lived across the field there, would have made a world of difference to our family 25 years ago.
3 Saugeen Hospice board members have had to use hospices for their dying loved ones outside of the region in recent months, including Julie Johnston.
The importance of being closer to home so that our region does have a long winter and travel can be a barrier.
The 6-bed hospice, with an emergency 7th bed available just in case, has raised $8.6 million of their $10 million fundraising goal to build the facility. Another $1.3 million will be required each year to cover operations, as the government covers no more than 50% of yearly hospice costs in Ontario.
We will be open in 2028, and I would like to say the midsummer 2028, and if we can expedite things to get it open sooner, we will.
In Walkerton, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Still to come, not yet a teenager and competing among the world's best, the local dart thrower rising through the international ranks. Canada's main stock index moved higher today. The TSX gained 96 points. In New York, the Dow added 150, the Nasdaq up 162. The Canadian dollar climbed almost a tenth of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold gained nearly $18 an ounce. Oil is up 26 cents a barrel. Gas prices increased overnight, and another raise could be coming. Today's jump was about 8 cents, bringing the average price in the GTA to about $1.73 a liter. Another 2-cent increase is expected tonight. Diesel prices could climb another 8 cents tomorrow as well, to about $2.14 a liter. Industry analysts say the increases can be attributed to the renewed violence between the U.S. and Iran. There appears to be a resurgence in electric vehicle interest, including new models arriving in Canada from China. With more on some of the more affordable options on the way, here's Geneviève Beauchemin.
A Chinese automaker showcased its EV models at a VIP cocktail in the Port of Montreal. Dongfeng Motor Corp hopes its cars will make their way into the Canadian market next year, distributed by North World Industry.
The quality is good, the price is good, and when people start to test the vehicle, say, wow, this is good.
Dongfeng has earmarked 2 models, the Vigo, a mini SUV, and the Nami Box, a subcompact, both with a price tag under $35,000. It's now working through Canada's certification process. Dongfeng is eyeing a move Ottawa has pushed, the possibility of manufacturing in Canada, likely in Quebec, home to the hottest EV market in the country. Zero-emission vehicle sales overall are surging in Canada with a 20% increase in May, 18,000 more on Canadian roads. Chinese EVs are now making their way to Canadian shores after Ottawa and Beijing struck a tariff deal. More than 6,531 have arrived and more are coming, including, predict analysts, some BYD models which are still not fully certified for Canadian roads. A Montreal couple, though, got a sneak peek at BYD ownership. They live half the year in Mexico and bought their Mexico-plated BYD Shark a month and a half ago. They say their hybrid fits their lifestyle.
There's always an excitement about having a new brand, something different from the main auto manufacturers that we've grown up with.
Cybersecurity experts have warned about national security and data privacy issues of what they say are Chinese smartphones on wheels.
With all our connected lives as it stands now, I think we've kind of crossed the Rubicon on that.
And some potential buyers say they hope that with more choice on the market, it will be more affordable to get behind the wheel of an EV. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
Welcome back on the desk with Julie now, and I can see that graphic behind you there. We're going to be talking about air quality at least into tomorrow, it sounds like.
Yeah, and I've never seen anything like it. I don't know about you.
It came in so quick this afternoon.
And
it really did.
We went from the blue sky to the hazy conditions and almost just an ominous looking sky out there. I know we saw some orangey conditions as well in our area. This is our high cam, and that's a snapshot of what it looked like this afternoon with our air quality at high risk. So we do have the warning in effect. Environment Canada upgrading from a yellow to an orange warning this afternoon. Our heat warning has ended, so that's good news. However, dealing with smoking conditions is not what we want this time of year. 30 degrees our high temperature. 23 degrees are low, and in terms of our forecast as we head into tomorrow, we are expecting it to be not quite as hot. And likely, if we get under this smoke and it just hangs around, temperatures won't be able to jump in the afternoon. That will really put the brakes on conditions. So we didn't even get as hot as we were expecting to today, and the reason, of course, is that smoke that moved in. As we take a look at the satellite radar, we did have a bit of cloud cover and a few spotty showers to the north. That brought the temperature down late this afternoon. We had this weak front slip through, shifting our winds to the northwest. That northwest wind will continue, bringing more forest fire smoke down to the surface in southern Ontario. Now, temperatures anywhere between 18 and 19 degrees overnight. If you're near the lakeshore, 20 to 21. Going out 36 hours. So we do have smoke in the forecast tomorrow, but again, very dependent on how these forest fires continue to move, how that wind shifts. So again, smoky conditions expected, but there could be times where we see the air quality improve ever so slightly before worsening again. So tomorrow is not going to be a great day in terms of air quality. However, by Friday, we're expecting conditions to be back to normal, and we will see some sunshine as we head into your weekend. We need rain. It's very dry. We do have rain in the forecast for your Friday night, and we also have rain as we head into your Saturday. Probability of showers this weekend ramps up to a 60% chance on Saturday. If you watch day to day, I mentioned this yesterday about the chance of showers. I thought it was a bit low, so yes, it is going higher today heading into your Saturday afternoon. Probably not what you want to hear. We need the rain, but nobody likes it on the weekend. 29 degrees as we head into tomorrow afternoon, and we will see those air quality warnings continue with smoke in the forecast. Friday, back to sunshine in the morning, and then as we head into your Friday night late, the chance for showers overnight into your Saturday. Showers on Saturday and 29 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud on a Sunday. Monday, mainly cloudy and 26, and we'll cool off just a bit. Look at that, 22 degrees on Tuesday, 23 on Wednesday. So we're going to go from some extreme heat to cooling down. A nice comfortable break from the heat of the summer is on the way, heading into midweek next week. Smoky conditions tomorrow, 28 degrees through here on Perth, Grey Bruce. And then on Friday, sunshine with some rain moving in late Friday night. Unsettled for your Saturday, a mix of sun and cloud on Sunday. And Monday, a mix of sun and cloud, and the cool down coming our way as we head into your Tuesday and Wednesday. Even those overnight lows, nice and comfortable. So take it easy, please. Again, anyone with respiratory problems, the elderly and the young, most affected by air quality, but anyone can be. So avoid strenuous outdoor activity and just take it easy until these smoky conditions clear. Carlyle, back to you.
Thanks very much, Julie. A council candidate is pitching a future for City Hall with more artificial intelligence and automation. And as Daryl Newcomb reports, he's actually building the computer systems himself.
You can see all the potholes that I reported in London.
Ward 12 candidate Rebel Zebian has built 3 computer programs that he believes will streamline City Hall services and lower costs.
People say, well, fix our infrastructure, fix our roads, make permits quicker. How are you going to do that? You know, the solutions need to be identified much longer before. I've developed road intelligence, public space intelligence, and generous civic AI.
Zebian's road intelligence program would allow residents to report potholes, input pictures, and link the information directly with repair teams. It also tracks progress on the repair as well as costs. The program Public Space Intelligence would allow reporting common concerns like fireworks and reckless driving to City Hall, and he's designing fixed monitoring stations that could also report loud noises. And the program Generous Civic AI would create an online option for permit applications that receives documents and preliminarily analyzes them using AI AI in order to expedite the process before it's reviewed by an employee.
This is not something we want to force on people, but this is something where it's an option, where it could be an express route if you really don't have time, if you need the project quickly.
Pitching ideas that he's actually built isn't new for the 19-year-old Western engineering student. While in high school, he built this G-Wagon that was donated to the Children's Museum, and last month he unveiled this $20,000 modular home.
Modern problems require modern solutions.
Zebian believes the computer programs would improve efficiency at City Hall, and rather than cost people their jobs, allow them to shift into roles where human oversight is still needed.
General civic AI, road intelligence, and the public space intelligence, these are offerings and gifts from me to the city. Especially if I win council, these are things that we could implement.
Also running in Ward 12 are Alexander Main and incumbent Elizabeth Pelosa. Londoners go to the polls October 26th. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Finally tonight, a London boy who's competing in Las Vegas right now, taking part in a world championship. He's only 12 years old, but he's throwing darts against some of the best youth players in the world, some of them several years his senior. With more on his love of the game and his potential, here's Brent Lale.
I'm Lucas Fraser. I'm going to Las Vegas for World Youth Masters for darts.
In preparation, Lucas has been throwing darts about 2 hours every day.
He wakes up, he goes right down into the basement, practices. After supper, he practices every day. Like his free moments, that's all he does right now.
And when he does take on the world, he'll be competing in the U18 division. The most impressive thing? He's technically a Tykes age player, because he's only 12.
It's pretty challenging going into some of these events because there's former players that are really good that I have to play.
We often have to remind ourselves and the people around us too, like he is only 12 and he's competing against usually kids that are 15, 16, and in this tournament 18. So it's a good reminder of he's 12. He has a lot of years still to come where we hope we can do this a few more times throughout his youth dart career.
In just 4 years after picking up the game while watching his father play,
it's tough now. I have to play really well to beat him.
He's won multiple provincials and a national runner-up finish.
I throw fast, and when I play other people, they usually pick up into my rhythm and it throws them off.
In the U18 division, competing against kids 6 years older.
He's going to be playing against youth from Europe, where, I mean, it's for our hockey, it's darts for them. So they've been playing since they were 2. So even just to make it a few rounds, I truly believe he'll be able to make it a few rounds, absolutely. And as far as he can go, we're just proud that he got the invitation.
I'm really excited. I hope to make it a few rounds in, but it's going to be tough because there's a lot of good players from a lot of different countries in the world.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.